What's going on, everyone? It's Mike back again, and this is your daily update. Firstly, though, huge thank you to everyone yesterday. The video, it's had a lot of views. It's had a lot of positive comments. I feel like some people might not have watched all of the video, and that's a bit obvious in some of the comments. Not a problem, completely understand. It's a very long 20-minute video. But the love I got and the support I got was absolutely mad. So yeah, thank you ever so much. And what I also want to say and just add is, it was a tough video to make. You know, because, you know, when you sit there and it's sort of like a realisation and it hits you and you're like, it's a bit depressing. And I don't want to be. I want to be positive, but it was a tough one. So, yeah, thank you to everyone. Really appreciate it. And hopefully we move forward as a football club. Whether it's now, whether it's in a few months, whether it's at the end of the season, it would just be nice to move forward. And that's what I think we all need, a little bit of progression, positivity, and maybe a football team that's prepared to be a little bit dynamic and mix it up. Maybe a manager that will do the same, you know? Who knows? Anyway, let's get into the rumours today. Luca Dean is just edging closer, it appears, to his move to Aston Villa. I expect this one to happen. I think we all do at this point. I think Aston Villa have beat other teams that maybe were interested in him, but only on loan bases, which obviously Everton wanted the cash. It's a target that Villa will be happy to sign. They've signed the French first team international and replacing Matty Target, who didn't necessarily have a great game for Aston Villa last night. There was a couple of moments where he made a mistake and Konsa managed to bail him out. But yeah, I mean, he's joining a progressive team that put on a really good performance against Man United last night and arguably got done by VAR, which is a disgrace in itself. So, yeah, I think all you can do is wish him luck. I know there's some people who will have, bad feelings towards Luca Dean because of the whole saga. Because I've never heard his comments and his side of the story, I'm personally not going to overkill it or overkilling him for it. I just think I wish him luck. It's a shame how he's left. I really liked Luca Dean, and fingers crossed he can get it. You know, he can have a good, successful remainder of his career. Let's get into some transfer news for another couple of outgoings actually. Mason Holgate is being linked with moves to Newcastle, Brighton, and Nice, and was it Lyon or Marseille? Anyway, 2 French teams. Again, look, I think if Everton can get a fee for Mason Holgate, I think it's good business. I think Mason Holgate is not kicked on as we expected. Not a criticism of the lad, again, it's nothing personal. I just think that I think he's changed. He seems his attitude seems to have changed, and I might be wrong. You know, it might be that he's just, you know, not enjoying his time, or he's not enjoying his football, or he is enjoying his football and he's enjoying playing for Everton, and maybe it comes across in the wrong way. I don't quite know, but there's certainly a disconnect between Mason Holgate and Everton fans. And if Mason wants to play football and be a consistent player, I think he needs to move, because Mason Holgate is probably dropped down the pecking order again in my sense. The only reason he's probably playing games is because Yerry Mina's been out for so long. I think on that sense, if you can get 10 million for Mason Holgate, I think you take it. I think you take it. I think 10 million is a fair amount of money for a player that's made, I think it's just over 100 appearances in the Premier League. Has got the ability. I genuinely believe there is a player in Mason Holgate. I don't quite know why we're not seeing it, but I do believe there's a player there. And if somebody can unlock it, again, I wish him luck going out. I don't think it's at Everton. So wherever he goes, if he goes, I like to think it's a deal and not a loan. I'd rather think it's cash, because, you know, when he is going forward and he is carrying the ball, he seems all right. He's not a bad passer. It's when he gets on the turn. It's when he does these, you know, these balls come over to the defence and he does this turn and he gets himself into trouble. You know, he's in the back line and he's turning towards goal and it hurts him. I don't think his reading of the game is great. I think that's an area that he can improve. And the thing is, he's not a young player anymore. You know, we often use excuses for players, but he's certainly not young. So, yeah, I think if Mason Holgate gets a good offer, 10 million quid, I think Everton should probably say, yeah, fair enough, off you go. Another player that have been linked with a move away, and I don't know how I feel about this one, because I was chuffed when we signed him 18 months ago now, and that's Allan. He's been linked with a move to Lazio and Inter Milan today, on loan. Now, when we signed Allan, he come in as an experienced general. That's what I would say that he was. 29 years old, experience, paid 20 million for him, so we paid a lot of money for this kid, and he's done okay. He's done fine. He's done an adequate job. Like, I can't sit here and slag him off too much, and I won't slag him off too much. But what I will say is, I think signing players for £20 million as they're touching 30 years old is an Everton model I don't like, and I didn't like it last season. I thought that we overspent on players, not necessarily that they weren't good enough, but you're spending money on players you're never going to get any money back for. And this is another one of those. This is another transfer, like the Morgan Schneiderlins, like the Balassis, where you overspend on money on players that you're never going to get any money back if they sell. You know, Everton used to be built on signing players like Joleon Lescott for 6 million and selling him for 26, signing John Stones for 3 and selling him for 50, getting Romelu Lukaku for 30 and selling him for 75. That was how Everton were built. You know, Stephen Pienaar signing him for 2.5 million, selling him to Spurs for 4.5 million, and then getting him on loan. You know, that was Everton. That was the model that I always used to think worked so well for Everton. He's another player that ticks that box. Do I think our midfield is weaker without him? Absolutely, and we definitely need a sort of defensive player in the middle of that park. And I have got some suggestions as a loan move, not a permanent deal. I have got some suggestions. I know who I would go and suggest. I've done no research. I don't know if he's available or not. I don't know how many games he's played, but I'd probably go and get Garner back. I know he's over 30, and I know that some people will say, well, what, you're literally saying you're replacing a 30-year-old with a 31-year-old or 32-year-old. But what I would say, Garner loved this football team, and Garner on loan isn't a massive risk, because if it doesn't work out for him, he can just go back in June. So I would have no problems losing Allan to bring in a player like Garner. I wouldn't. I think Garner's probably more mobile in midfield as well. I think he's probably a little bit more tenacious. I saw him score a couple of goals recently, or sort of in the last 6 months for PSG, so he may be adding that to his game. And if he's available, yeah, that Garner's the sort of player I would go for on loan. Also, there's Ndombele at Tottenham. And look, I hate loaning players from teams that I consider Everton to be as big as, if not bigger, in the historic sense. Because, you know, Spurs have got this new stadium and they've got more money and they're higher in the league. So we can't kid ourselves with where we are. But Spurs are not bigger in terms of historically than Everton. And I hate going to these teams and asking for players, because it makes us feel like we're smaller than them when we're not. But Ndombele is a player that potentially, weirdly, a manager like Rafa Benitez could possibly get the best out of. He's not having a great time at Spurs. I think they would consider loaning him. And you're looking at an Everton midfield then, Toure and Ndombele, plus another, because I think we need to go with 3 in midfield. But all of those players are ball carrying. I think it could be, that could be a viable option as well. So look, I think there's a few options in midfield if Allan goes. I don't think Allan leaving is the end of the world. Albeit, again, he's not my first name to go, if you get what I mean. But again, it's like the lesser of evils, really. If Everton need to reduce the wage bill, get players off the books, maybe do it that way. I don't know. I'm not a football expert, but we're in such a difficult position that our hands are tied. In years gone by, Everton could just say, well, we're going to lash 25 million on X and go and do it. We really can't do that now because of financial fair play. We're so hamstrung by the decisions that have been made by this board over the years and the players that have signed, again, with no resale value. We've really struggled to do that. And I think up until recently, I think Fraser Hornby's been our most, in terms of income from the transfer, 1.8 million. Because I think we only got 500,000 from Al Rayner for James Rodriguez. I think our loan fee for Moise Kean was split over 2 years. So, yeah, fair enough, in loan fees, maybe it's 2.5 million or 3 million. But, you know, all of this money that Everton have spent, we've not brought back in. And that's what's killed us. So, you know, Allan's another one. Another player linked with a move today. And I actually could see this happening. He's Cenk Tosun to Besiktas. Now, he come out 2 or 3 days ago and said, I'm not going to be moving until the summer. and look, everyone knows what I think about that. I mentioned it in a video yesterday. But if Everton are prepared to let him go now, pay half of his wages for 6 months, which allows him to go, and he gets half of his wages topped up by whoever he signs for, I think that's a good deal. Because yes, you're not getting his wages completely off the book, but you are getting them, you know, a decent chunk of it off. And I think, again, that helps. Going into a new year, new financial year, which I think Everton's is March or April. It moved by a month, if I remember, a couple of years ago. You know, if that happens, then fine. Good news. Happy days. Because we don't need players like Cenk Tosun at the football club in any capacity. So, yeah, I would do that personally. If they want him, just agree to half his wages or pay 40% of his wages and he can go. And that's it. And Cenk Tosun is no longer an Everton player and we don't have to worry about it after June when we're not paying any of his wages. So that's a move. Talk about transfers in. Everton have been linked and mentioned again with an improved bid for Longstaff. I really don't get this. Like, I don't get it. And I don't want to overkill it. I don't want to overcook it, but I don't understand. People have said that under Rafa Benitez, his statistics were good. They might have been for a season, but every player has good stats for a season. You know, like, every single player can be good for 6 months, a year. Like, it happens. We see all the time players have 1 year wonders. It's just whether they can keep up that consistency. And he hasn't. He hasn't. So why do we want to go and get a player from a team that's battling relegation and probably will get relegated? I mean, let's be brutally honest. They were terrible against Cambridge. They might have had all the crosses in the world and all of the ball. But when it really mattered, Cambridge should have had a penalty. And they scored. They could have won 2-0. So let's not sugarcoat it. This guy doesn't work. Now, if you're going to tell me that Allan's going to go and Longstaff is going to come in, yeah, I'm not feeling that at all. So I don't get it. I don't get it, and I don't understand why there's any logic to this move, because we've been linked with this guy before. It's not happened, and I'm not interested in him. Like, I'm not interested. So leave that there. Another player that we've been linked with over the last couple of days, and I mentioned it in the video yesterday or the day before, or even last night on Kieran Ranch's channel. Go over and check that video out as well when it comes out later. David Neres. David Neres, again, as I said, he's done okay. He's done okay. He's got Anthony in front of him, which is really difficult for him. 15 times, 3 goals, 2 assists, or 2 goals and 3, whatever it is. He's a very good player, but he can't get in the team properly because of Anthony being unreal. I mean, that kid's 60, 70 million pound player, isn't he? So that's his struggle. Now, in my opinion, he will move in January, and I think I said it yesterday, and then the articles weirdly come out this morning saying that he would go in January. Shakhtar Donetsk have had a bid rejected for something like 12.8 million euros. If Everton are going to move and going to get him, it's going to be between 15 and 20 million, a loan with an obligation to buy, or we're just going to find the money. Like, it's that simple. He's not going to come out on loan for 6 months with no obligation to buy, because he's too good for that. They will want a guarantee that they're going X amount, and that amount I think will be about 16, 17 million euros. I think in the summer, Everton can possibly do that. I don't think they can do it right now without players leaving. And this was the dilemma. You're going to have other teams that are going to be sniffing around players like David Neres, like Newcastle, like Southampton, like West Ham, like Villa. You know, this player is a very, very good player. He'll have links all over Europe. You know, teams like Rome will be interested. David Neres, in my opinion, will not be at Ajax at the end of the season. He won't. After January, he won't. I just don't think he will. So, if Everton are going to move for him, I think they need to. But I think they need to get some money in. We've already spent the money we're getting for Dean. So, again, I don't think we can spend that money. I don't think we saved enough in wages from the player that have gone. Personally, I suspect that if we're going to get him, it's going to be a loan with an obligation to buy. That's my thoughts. So, look, guys, I'm leaving it there. There's really nothing else majorly going on. Luca Dean going, Holgate potentially going, Allan potentially going, David Neres and Longstaff coming in. That's the rumours in a nutshell. I could have literally cut this video to 20 seconds, but no, sorry. But apart from that, guys, as I say, thank you ever so much for the support. I love you as always. Keep smiling. Keep going. My Norwich tickets have come this morning, so if you go in the game, I'll see you. Apart from that, see you soon. Peace.